Hi, it's Jason, Jason's Jungle. Today it's a lovely sunny warm day and I've got lots to do on the plot, so I'll start cracking on and show you what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is sticking the onions into this bed. Okay, it's not the first thing, because the first thing I've got to do is to move these gallows onto the next bed along. Okay, not quite the first thing, that. First thing I've got to do is take these supports out and level this bed off. So that's the first thing. So I might as well get on with that now. Okay, so this is me gallows moved across. I did do a video last year, I'm sure, of actually transporting them across. So what I'll do is I'll stick the link up above. But when I was moving these, something nice has come up, which means I've got another job today. I'll just go and show you that. Well, they say one job always leads to another, and digging up the gallows, I've discovered these. Now these are the roots from last year's runner beans, Gigantes runner beans. Runner beans can be perennial, but they're tender, which means they'll get killed off by frost and stuff. But these still look okay. There's one or two of them that look like they've been eaten a bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these in some pots and see if I can get them to grow. Prepping the bed's just really going to be raking it over, filling in these holes, making sure they're filled in that I dug the gallows out of, adding some feed, and then hiding some compost on. So I might as well just get on with that. Okay, so that's it prepped. Just got to go and get the onions and stick them out now. Now that compost is a bit raw, but that's fine, it's only on top. I've added all the feed to the soil underneath, and that's where I'm going to be putting the roots for the onions. As it breaks down, because there's a lot of raw material in there that the worms will love, it'll get mixed in. But now let's go and get my onions. So as you can see, I start these off in sets. These sets off in modules. Now, if I poke these out, you can see that the roots are starting to get a bit bang, but they're still not too far gone. Perfect time to start potting them out. Now I pot them out of only James Dio pot, and that's about 6 inches. So 6 inches from the side. Put my first one in. Move aside any of the mulch. I put them off 6 inches in all directions. Plant them up. And then I just pull the mulch around them and leave them to it. Now you don't need to see us plant out 3 trays of onions. I've done that before. So I'll record a bit and fast forward through it. Okay, now to look at potting these up, these runner beans up. Now these are the type gigantes which I grew last year. I'm not too sure how viable these are, because some of them are starting to look as if they're rotten at the top. But, you know, whether they'll go for the crown or they'll go further down, I'll have to see. So I'm not going to put new compost in, I'll just use some old compost. Because once they're growing, I will transplant them to somewhere where they can grow. So I've got an old bucket of compost here, and a few pots here, and I'll get a few of them in. Let's have a look. They're gnarly little things, all wrapped around each other. So basically I'm just putting enough soil in to get, just put a bit in the bottom, wrap the roots in, straighteners, and then add more so it's right almost to the top of the fill it in. Now I don't know if I should cover them, the roots completely or not, so I'm going to leave them up a little bit above soil. So if you can see there, you can see where that might just be where the old stem died off, but they're quite firm over here, so I'll leave them here and hopefully they'll start sending up shoots. Now they should send up more than one shoot. They should send up a few little shoots at a time, you know, well, more than just a single bean seed would do. And hopefully once I get these into the polytunnel and get them watered and get the warmth on them, these should be up and away quite quickly. Then I can think about where the hell I'm going to put them. Now some of them are quite big, so they need bigger pots. Let's sort out the biggest one. I think that's this. Yeah. So I have a dipper pot here, which I can try and wrap this in. No, actually, I'll stick that into one of these pots. Now runner beans are a perennial, but it's just northeast of England would tend not to have the weather that they like over winter. You can mulch for them, so if you put down say a heavy straw mulch and a bit of fleece over it, maybe enough to stop the freezing and stop the frost getting to them. And when they come back next year, you'll see if it works. I've never really got round to trying that because I always just grow them from seed, but I think once or twice they've grown in the beds the year after, which is unfortunate because I had planted up with something else. But you can see this one, last year's shoot, you know, and then you got the nice root. There's a tap root. Now I'm sure someone once told me that the runner bean roots are actually edible. However, it's not something I'm going to try. I will try a lot of things, but I think I prefer to try regrowing them than eating them. But you can see, nice and fat. You know, if you get a few like that, might be worth, if they are edible, but one experiment at a time. So I've put up 10, and I've got to see if they'll go now. And what I've got left are two little scraggly bits. This little bit, which looks like it's snapped off something, and this bit, which is just rotten right at the top. So I don't think I'm going to plop that with this. But this little bit, I'm going to stick in a pot to see what happens. You never know, it might grow out advantageous shoots. So I'm going to put into one that's a bit longer and thinner, so I can tell it apart. So I can see if this little thing will actually give us life. And once that's done, I'll get a good water, and they'll get put into the greenhouse or the polytunnel. And then I'll just wait and see what happens.